You're watching the David Benjamin High-Tech Direct TV Sports Zone.
It's getting close to football time in Tennessee, and we're excited about that. And Lee mentioned the fact that it is my 12th year doing the Tennessee games on the Fall Network, and I do remember my very first game, which was against Wyoming 12 years ago. Tennessee won the game, and everything was great. And I went home, and it was a night game, and my daughter at that time was 15 years old, Allison, and she'd been to the game, and so got on the computer and stuff when I got home, and she's typing away, teenage girls catching up on who's got a new car and who's going on a date and what movie they're going to tomorrow and all that kind of stuff, that important stuff. So I come walking in, I say, Allison, well, how do you think your old dad did on his first time on the Fall Network? You didn't suck.
Well, Bruce Steele wasn't the only special guest in town this week. Bob Kesling, the voice of the Tennessee Vols, was in Cookeville talking about the upcoming football season. Let's take a look at what the voice of the Vols had to say about the Vols.
12 years, you said earlier. 12 years. Does it feel like 12 years?
No, it's flown by. And I guess when you love something and you really enjoy what you're doing, the time does pass quickly. But, I still get people coming to me all the time saying, how you like your new job? I said, 12 years I've been doing it. But it's one of those things where when I go to work every single day and I enjoy what I'm doing. And if you don't like going to games at Neyland Stadium and being paid to work, then you ought to do something else.
So it does feel like the first game, even though it's 12 years later.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Every time you see the team run through the tee, you still get that same feeling. It's that same great atmosphere. And, I just really enjoy it. And I'm just very, very fortunate to be in a job that I enjoy going to work every single day.
Okay, now let's talk about the team. Lost a quarterback. We're going to have a new one. Who do you think it's going to be? Sims obviously has the family name behind him. How does that look for you?
Well, I think Matt Sims right now, obviously, he's a young man with a lot of experience. He played in junior college, and he did play at Louisville for a while. So, while that's not SEC football, it is still enough that he kind of has a feeling for the speed of the game. He's got great bloodlines with his dad and his brother, so he's been around it. He knows how to study film. He knows how to get ready for a game. And the other guys he's competing with are just out of high school. So you would have to think he'd have the advantage. Now, with that being said, he's got to take care of the ball. He's got to throw to the right guys. He's got to get them in and out of the huddle. But I think he's kind of in the summer workouts and early in the preseason camp, I think he's really kind of taking control of this team from a leadership standpoint and from a seniority standpoint, and I think Coach Dooley's really appreciated that. But he's got to perform, and they've still got some work to do before they open against UT Martin.
Now, is that the key on the offense? I know there's a few other new players that are going to be coming in starting. Do you think the quarterback is the key?
If you talk to anybody, the offensive line for any offensive football team is the key, and you got 5 new starters there. You can have the greatest quarterback in the world, but if you can't protect him and give him time to operate, then you're not going to be very successful. But Derek Dewey's philosophy is that they want to run the football. And Torin Poole had a really good year last year, had a great spring practice, and he's been as good or better so far during this fall camp. So they really want to rely a lot on the running game and not make it where the quarterback has to go out and win the game for you. I think their philosophy right now is to make sure the quarterback doesn't get you beat and see if you can do enough things to move the ball and score some points. And I think a lot of that's going to depend on the running game, and I think Torin Poole is going to be a big key to that.
Now, on the defensive side, what do you think's looking there? We got a couple injuries, a couple starters. That's going to be tough.
Well, if you can't rush the passer, you're going to have a tough time winning in this league right now. And the defensive line is such a critical part of being able to control the running game and putting pressure on the passer. And Tennessee lost 2 guys in the starting lineup, Ben Martin and Marlon Walls. That's a big loss for any football team. So. But when, that door closes, it opens for somebody else. So, obviously, they've got to get some guys up front. Anymore in college football, you need 8 to 10 defensive linemen. So, Tennessee's got to find in the next couple of weeks, maybe it's a Gerald Williams or it's a freshman or somebody, Jacques Smith or somebody's got to step up and fill that gap. But there's plenty of opportunity for young guys to have a chance to play a lot. But I think one of the key things to this defense is the fact Nick Rivers does return this year. And, it's unfortunate he got hurt last year. But Nick not only is he a good, solid football player, he also gets everybody else lined up. He's such a student of the game. He gets guys lined up, gets them in the right position, and that's one of those intangibles that you can never measure. But having Nick out there as the quarterback of the defense is going to be really big.
How's the team reacting to the new coach? How's Coach Dooley doing? Because obviously the other one didn't really end very well.
Yeah. I think Coach Dooley has talked from day one. He wants to set a foundation. This is not a one-year deal or a two-year deal. This is for the long haul. And so this is how we're going to go about it. This is how we're going to play at Tennessee. This is what I expect of you as a Tennessee football player. Now, there have been some bumps along the way already. But I think the guys know every time there's been a bump, Coach Dooley has been able to reinforce what his philosophy is going to be. And Coach Dooley says all the time, I'm dwelling on the guys that are here and that want to be here, and that's how we're going to build it. But I think he's taking it from the right spot. You've got to build the foundation. He's a long-time SEC guy, so he knows what the potholes are in this league. Then you got to try and avoid those, and he also knows how difficult it is to win in this league. So he's coming into the situation pretty wide open. I think he wishes he had more numbers, but when it's your third coach in 3 years, you're going to have guys leave, and so you've got to be able to build that back up and get it to the numbers. So I think right now this year, Coach Dooley's just trying to take it. It's the old cliche, literally take it game by game and just see where they are and figure out a way for Tennessee to stay in the game and see if they can figure out a way to win them.
And he's really done everything positive.
Yeah.
Some of the things that have come down now from the NCAA, he's really answered positively along those lines. Now, how do you feel about the team? What's your personal feeling about the team this year?
Well, I'd like to get to the point where you just think they're putting it on the line every single week. And I think last year's team did that, with the exception of the Ole Miss game. Who knows what happened there, but Ole Miss came out, played really well. But, the team last year, they came out, and I think they played – they almost beat Alabama and Florida. So they laid it on the line. I think that's what Tennessee fans want this team to do. Yeah. And the guys that play – the returning guys understand what the type of effort it takes to win in this league. So you just hope the guys go out and play as hard as they can and as well as they can. And then you just hope that's good enough. So I'm not one of these guys that said, well, they've got to win this amount of games or the season's a failure or a success. Or just go out and play as well as you can. Concentrate on beating UT Martin and then worry about the next game after that.
All right. Well, Bob, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We love listening to you on our sister station, the Country Giant. If we can't make it to the game, it's great to have somebody and someone who loves the game as much as you do to send it to us.
Well, turn down the TV and listen to the Country Giant. That's what I say. Thanks.
Works for me.
You're watching the David Benjamin High Tech Direct TV Sports Zone.